Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Dela's Voice. I am so happy to be back here with you today, and I have a very special guest joining me. Her name is Fiona Barr. She is a registered hypnotherapist and an NLP coach. Fiona comes to us with years of experience in social work. But what brings her on Dela's Voice today is her personal story with her struggles through her life as she went through a journey of finding herself in victimhood and how she found her way to joy. Today, Fiona lives her passion of helping others reach joy and achieve results. I'm so excited to bring you the story of this superhero. May you learn, may you get inspired, and may you get motivated to change your life for the best life that you can ever live. So please help me welcome on Dela's Voice, Fiona Barr. Hello.
Hello. Wow, you almost made me cry there for a second. That was beautiful.
I do my best.
Yeah, you do your best. You're pretty darn good.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So glad. So first of all, you're so full of joy and so energetic. I just love talking to you. In the few minutes that we had before the broadcast started, I got such a good vibe from you. So this is going to be a talk between girlfriends.
Absolutely.
Right? And a bunch of people are going to be watching.
Awesome.
Right? And so I want to welcome whoever is watching at this very moment to please remember to press that like button. Okay. And if you think that there's people in your life that could benefit from this talk, please share this podcast with them so that they could also benefit from what golden information Fiona has to offer. So welcome everybody. And the comment section is open. Please feel free to leave us comments. If you have questions, please feel free to share them with us, and we'll see how this podcast is going to roll out.
Yay.
So, right? And it's always so much fun. So welcome on the podcast. Fiona Barr, I want to start by asking you a question. Why did you pick this topic for tonight, from victimhood to joy?
Well, I spent a lot of years trying to figure out who I am. And in the last 6 months or so, I have discovered that I'm a pretty darn good freaking person. I'm awesome, actually. And I've done a lot of work with one of my coaches, and he's really helped me find the joy in my life, because there's such a big difference between joy and happiness, right? Like, happiness is external. Happiness comes and goes. I can be happy because, I had a great cup of coffee today, but that joy is something that's internal and never changes. And he helped me really get to a place where even when the crap is happening in my life, I still have joy. And so being able to share that story with people is just, I know that there's other people who are out there going, I just want to find joy in my life. How do I do that?
I love that. Because I'm on the same page with you that there's a big difference between happiness and true joy. And so I totally resonated with this topic that you picked, because I asked you, I said, what would you title your talk? And you said this, and I said, that totally speaks to me. And so let's start by this. What is your definition of victimhood?
My definition of victimhood is when your belief is that life is happening to me. All of these things happen to me. It's my car breaks down, so life has happened to me. And when we start to think that life is always happening to us and things are happening to us, we lose focus and we lose whatever joy and happiness we have in our life. When we can turn that around and start looking at life as happening for us and with us, then victimhood is gone. But whenever we think that things are happening to us, we're in that place of victim. And I refuse to be there anymore. And I was there for many, many years.
Me too. I was there for many years. There's no power in victimhood, is there?
None at all. None at all. I mean, you feel powerless. You feel hopeless. It's like, why does everything bad happen to me? Why does so-and-so get this? Why did she get that promotion? Look at those people. They have a really nice car. I drive a crap car, right? And it's because there's just just our energy is so negative that the universe is saying, all right, here you go. There's more stuff to pile on top of you because you want the negative. And for me, I tell people that all the time. It's like, stop letting life happen to you. Start allowing life happen for you and with you. It's a huge difference, huge difference.
And I mean, as simple as that is, Fiona, there's big resistance.
Oh, for sure. I know. I was there. I was there.
Let's go there, shall we? But before we go there, I want to say hi to some people that are watching. My mama is watching. She's
Hello.
Penny is watching. Reza is watching. Maureen, thank you so much, everybody who's joined us. And there's people watching on YouTube, which I cannot see. So drop us a line. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. That would be fantastic to see. I love this. Okay, let's talk about your journey. Let's go back to the time when you felt in victimhood. What was happening?
Wow. So I can tell you exactly when it was. It was March 2015. I had been just over 15 years as a social worker working for a child protection agency. And I got called into the boss's office and they said, we're going to do an investigation into your work. There's been complaints. And I was like, what? What is happening here? And so I had counseled lots of people when this happened to them. So I took my own advice and I went back to my doctor, but I had already been to my doctor because I was already on some medication because my depression was coming back. Because depression, I like to call it my friend. We've been friends for many, many, many years, and comes and goes. And when it comes, I do the things I need to do. And depression had come back into my life, and because my job was so stressful, I tell people that I loved what I did and I was really good at what I did, but it was a hard job because I had to remove children from parents' care. I had to tell a set of siblings that their mother had been murdered, and then I had to go to her funeral. I was held hostage once, and I got called every name under the sun. And there was at one point where I was just shutting down and my memory was shot. And somebody was saying, Fiona, and there was a PA, like the secretary was saying, somebody's car is running in the parking lot. And it was my car. I had left it running for 2 hours. And I had no idea. So I knew that I was in trouble. So when I went back to my doctor, when my employer said, you know what? We're going to do an investigation into what's going on. And I was like, I'm out. I can't do this. So I went back to my doctor and I took 6 weeks and, adjusted my meds and went to therapy. And then that 6 weeks turned into 6 months. And during that time, I thought that life was going to be okay. I would just do the things I needed to do, but it was a terrible 6 months because in that time, my husband, who's now my ex-husband, had a heart attack. My mom died. My dog died. Both of my children had health issues. I lost my job. PTSD moved into my life after that period, but it wasn't long after. So there was all these barriers that just kept popping up, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. And I just started shutting down. And then while I was on my 6 months leave doing the things I needed to do, I hired my first coach. because there was something about, you know, the post I was reading on Facebook, and I was like, this is speaking to me. And so she was a spiritual coach, and we did a lot of work on my chakras, and we cleared all of the stuff that was happening inside of me. And I had a lot of stuff that was going on. A lot of I'm not good enough, all those limiting beliefs, you know, and I'm not sure if anybody's aware of, you know, the chakra system, you know, but it's, you know, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And when one of those is blocked, the energy just doesn't able to flow through. And I am by no means an expert on that, but I knew that once I started clearing this energy, things started to look better. And so the end of my 6 months, I was like, okay, I'm in a better place. Yes, my mom is gone. You know, my kids are healthy. My husband's healthy. He's come back to work. And I was, you know, I'm like, okay, things are getting back to better, back to life. And so then I got another job because I quit my job because I had to make a decision of go back to work and face, you know, all of the investigation. And I knew that I wasn't strong enough to do it. I just knew it. So I signed my resignation. And the moment I signed it, and I hope you don't mind if I use a curse word, but the moment I said it, I was like, oh, F-bomb, what did I just do?
Mm-hmm.
But that moment was very quickly left. And then I had this huge wave of relief that just swept over me. And I was like, I'm free. I'm free of this. And so I took another couple of months to get myself back together, and I found another job. And I thought, yes, life is better. And that's when PTSD moved into my life. So my husband was, it was a terrible, terrible tragedy. And my husband was diagnosed with PTSD because of this incident at his workplace. And I don't know if anybody else here has ever been a caregiver of someone with PTSD, but it changes the person with the diagnosis, but it also really changes the person who is the caregiver. Because for myself, I'm a natural caregiver. I just want to wrap people in bubble wrap, make sure they're safe. But he didn't want that. He did not want that. And so eventually, you know, we just started to separate, to the point where we had made a decision to separate, and then he changed his mind. And I was like, great. We sold our big house because we were empty nesters, and we moved to a smaller house. And then one day he just came and said, I don't want to be married anymore. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And so, like, all right, okay, what happens now? And I may have been in a little bit of a shock because I went to the panel the very same day and I adopted a cat. And it took me about 2 weeks to name this cat because I wanted to make sure she had the right name. And when it came to me, you know, her name of my new life. She was the beginning of my freedom of caring for someone who didn't want me to care for them, free of being sad, free of, you know, always having to walk on eggshells, you know, in case something happened, and free to be who I was and who I am. You know, and I was still working, but eventually I got to the point where, oh, here comes my other cat. It got to the point where I don't have anymore. There she is. This one's Peanut. I was driving a young lady to the hospital one day, and I was, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. And you need someone who cares about you. And the foster parents I worked with needed someone who cared for them, and my staff needed someone who was there for them, because I could feel that mental health coming back. Because prior to that, I had done all the work, and my mental health was back at a good place, but it was starting to decline again. And I knew at that point that I needed to put me as the focus. I needed to be me. And I was really tired of everybody depending on me. So the moment I did that, again, there was another relief of, oh God, that feels so good to be free. And then it was like, okay, so what do I do with my life now? What do I do with my life now? And so I thought, you know what? I have social work skills. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be a life coach. And so I initially started with, I'm going to be the coach for people who are caregivers of people with PTSD. Well, that was like, no, that didn't work so well because I wasn't ready for that. Because anybody who's ever worked with a coach or who is a coach knows that you have to be through all the crap in order to help people. And I was still kind of in the middle of bits of it. So that wasn't going to work. And then I was like, nope, I'm going to be a speaker's coach. I'm going to train people how to stage. And again, that wasn't the right thing. I took a really deep look at myself again. I was like, you know what? I just need to go back to work. I need to find a job. So I did. I worked for a year at a company, great company, made lots of great friends, did absolutely nothing to do with social work. And I was happy. But I was always had this little niggling thing in the back of my head that, you know, when you're like, you are meant for something more. And then one day I saw a post on Facebook, who wants to know more about hypnosis?
Ding, 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 ding. Right?
And I was like, that's me. And I connected with Ryan and we chatted. We got on a Zoom call and we chatted. And I was like, this is the thing. This is the thing. So I signed up for a 3-day hypnotherapy course right away. It was my birthday weekend, snowstorm. I think we were in Oakville and I spent 3 days. I was sick. It was my birthday. And I was like, nope, I'm going to do this. And I fell in love. And it's just so natural for me to do this. And then afterwards, he was like, okay, so my next course is the NLP course, and we're going to teach about this. And I'm like, oh, sign me up, because that is singing to me. And so I've done that. So I have these new skill sets combined with my social work, and then working with the coach I have now about finding the joy. It was just like this meld that everything just came into place for me. And so now, like, I look back at my life 5 years ago and I was like, wow, life really happened to me. I really let life happen to me back then. And now I'm in this place where life happens for me. Yeah. People often say, Fiona, you got your rose-colored glasses on. Maybe you need to take those off. And I'm like, why would I?
Why
Would I take? Why? Because the world is such a beautiful place, even in this crazy time, right? This crazy COVID time that we're in. There is still so much beauty and positivity. And so I very rarely go into that negative place. I very rarely go into that dark place. I am always looking to find the positive. I'm always looking to find the good. For me, I don't believe that there are bad people. I believe that there are people who make bad choices. I don't believe that, yes, and bad things happen, but what are you going to do about it? Shit happens. So then I have two choices. I can say, okay, I can be in that place where look at all this stuff that's happened to me. Or I can say, yep, it happened. I can't change it. I can't go back and change it. All I can do is change how I react to it. And if I want to be the victim, I'm going to go back there and go, oh, it's all happening to me again. Look at all this stuff. Or I can say, what can I learn from that? What can I take from that thing that happened and move forward with it? And that is joy.
Yes.
That is pure joy for me.
Okay, let's just wait for a second. I want to make sure we say hi to some people that have.
Okay.
First of all, your darling Jessica's here with us. Okay.
Yes.
She says,
hi, girl.
She says, hi, Mom. And she says she can hear Lucy.
Yes.
Then we have my darling Marianne Pajan. Pageant, sorry. My bad. Don't kill me, Marianne. Pageant is watching. Antoinette is watching. And Atusa, my cousin, is watching from Vancouver. And Majan, thank you so much, everybody. Just drop us a line and let us hi. Drop us a line in the comment and tell us where you're watching from. And if you can relate to this topic, let us know. This topic of victimhood. Have you ever found yourself in that place of victimhood? And you touched on so many different topics that I just want to hold on to them because they all speak to me. First of all, you talked about PTSD. in a loved one. And that's that's a really close topic to my heart. Mental health. I consider myself an advocate for mental health. My brother's living with schizophrenia, and I always talk about it, and he's okay with me talking about it, because for a very long time we didn't know anything about mental health. We didn't talk about mental health, but now I consider myself more informed, and so I do want to say it's a real thing. Caregiver stress, caregiver burnout is a real thing.
Absolutely.
And so you were so right to say that you found yourself in a place where you didn't know what to do. You were hopeless. You were desperate. You had, right? You were tired. You didn't know what else you could do. And so that is a real thing.
Absolutely.
I so welcome this talk. And if anyone's watching this right now and knows of someone who is suffering from a mental health problem, and knows that the family is also suffering, please let me know, because I want to bring more light to this topic. So on that, and then so I want to go back to so you know what, you're so right to go from a mindset that life is happening to me, to shift now to a mindset that says life is happening for me. It's not an overnight shift.
No, absolutely not. It takes a lot of work and a lot of tears.
A lot of work,
a lot of tears.
And it's like you shedding layers.
Yes.
Does that speak to you?
Yeah. Or peeling an onion, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
All the layers, right? Like you're peeling it back until you think you've got to that place where, yes, life is good. I'm in a good place. And then, nope, not quite yet.
Yes.
Peel back a few more. Yes. And it's ongoing, even for myself, right? Like there are days when I'm like, what is this feeling that I'm having? What is this? Yes, I'm always high energy. I'm always smiling. I'm always positive. But I do have days where I'm like, I just don't want to talk to anybody. And I honor those days. I honor those days where, you know what, I just want to lay on my couch and watch Netflix. And I honor those days, because if I don't, then it's such an easy slide back to that place that I'm never going back to again. Right. And I refuse to go back there.
And to say that takes a lot of vulnerability.
For sure.
Because a lot of people want to pretend that they've got it all figured out, right? They want to show off that that they're always on top of things. They've got it 100% of the time. There's no such thing. There's no such thing, right?
No.
So the reality is that we go through ups and downs.
Yes.
Like you said, depression is my friend, right? Because you know it, you know when it's coming, and it's so important to show yourself self-compassion and grace while you're going through it, right?
Absolutely. And I've now, it's been years that probably 20 years that it's been part of my life. And, when I get to a point where I'm feeling a certain way, and I ask myself, okay, so is this my friend coming back, or is this just me not managing what's happening day to day? Mm-hmm. And so I do that internal work. I journal, I talk to friends, I meditate, I rest, and you celebrate myself. And normally then it's okay. It's not clinical depression coming back. It's just, it's just life. And I just need to do some stuff to get back back on track.
It's the crap, right?
Yeah, it's the crap.
And so sounds like you have a good handle on mindfulness.
Yes.
Right. So okay. So now, I got to say hi to some more people.
Okay.
Right. So Marianne, I love you too, Marianne. Michael, thank you for joining us. Jean-Luc, hello, my dear. Thank you so much for watching. So, okay. Now you talked about being a registered hypnotherapist.
Yes.
What does that do? What do you do? How do you help people with that skill set?
With that skill set. So when people come to me looking for hypnosis, first of all, you have to want to make the change.
Okay,
So
who would come to, so
anybody.
let's say who would want
So people who want to lose weight, people who want to stop smoking. That's a very common one. But the thing is that let's just say you're a smoker and your son or your daughter says, Mom, you need to quit smoking. But you don't want to quit smoking, but you come to see me because your kids want you to quit smoking. It's not going to work, because it has to be you that wants to make the change, because you have to let your unconscious do the work. And your unconscious is not going to do anything that you wouldn't want to do.
I love that. And at the same time, you're so sure that
Yes.
you're not going to be able to quit, that this is just another one of those things you want to prove.
Right,
So I told you it's not going to work.
Exactly. And so, and there may be a reason why and you don't even know it, that you don't want to quit smoking, because maybe it's where you smoked with your best friend. You always had coffee and you had a cigarette. The two of you shared a cigarette, or your husband, and he's no longer with you. And so it becomes that, we call it a secondary gain. So rather than looking at the smoking, we look at what's going on with that piece of it. And so then we tackle that stuff rather than the smoking piece. And that, it could be grief, right? Like maybe you've lost your husband, he's passed on, or divorced, whatever, right? And the secondary gain is that's where you two had you had those deep conversations, you shared that special time over a cigarette and a cup of coffee maybe. And if you quit smoking, you lose that special time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we look at, how do you keep that special time or those memories and still let go of smoking to have a better health. I have a friend who recently lost his dad, and prior to that, he was the caregiver of his dad, and he wasn't sleeping, and he was just anxiety. And so we did a lot of clearing of mind clutter, and just getting him to relax and to sleep, because he wasn't sleeping because his father was ill and he was the primary caregiver. And then when his dad died, then we did the grief work, and we still do some grief work. And so while I can't change what happened, I can help him kind of get to a point where he understands and can accept what happened. Because, for anybody that's not really sure how hypnosis works, I don't make people cluck like chickens.
I'm not sure how it works.
I don't make people cluck like chickens. Absolutely. I'm not going to make you bark like a dog or stand on your head. That's not the kind of work I do. What I'm going to do is like when we have our mind, right? Like the top 5% is our conscious mind. So that's the piece that does, that's, your everyday thinking, right? Then there's a line
called, what am I going to eat for lunch?
Yeah, what am I going to have for lunch? Oh, I got to go to work today. I'll look at the sun, like those kinds of things. Yeah. Then there's it's a line, and it's not a physical line, but it's a critical faculty, right? And it's kind of that line between the 5% conscious and the 95% unconscious. And so the unconscious mind is the piece that its primary directive is to keep us safe and keep us alive. So it's responsible for your heart beating and your blood flowing and your lungs working and doing all of those things. It's also the piece that will never allow you to do anything that is going to hurt you, even if you want the change, because your unconscious mind thinks.
Question.
Yes.
So the unconscious part of your mind, it's really the automatic part.
Yes. Okay. Yes, the automatic part. So then, so when your unconscious mind, like if you want to get on stage or start a podcast, and your unconscious mind is going to say no, because you're going to put yourself out there, and that might embarrass you.
Make a fool of yourself.
Make a fool of yourself. So I'm not going to let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
All we have to do is say to your unconscious mind, yeah, I can do this. Yes, unconscious mind, we can do this.
Okay. So how does your unconscious mind not let you do that? How does it do that?
It will send you the belief that you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, that it will put up these blocks and you won't even know they're there. But you'll just have this belief system that I'm not good enough to do this thing.
You sneaky monkey unconscious mind.
Exactly. So when we put you, but it's not being malicious, it's just trying to keep you safe. Some people call it the ego, right? Like the ego is the thing that says, I'm going to keep you safe. And so, no, that's not really the reality. That's my ego speaking. So when we go into a deep trance, what happens is that critical faculty line, I always say it kind of gets like airy-fairy, right? So that the conscious mind and the unconscious mind then come out to play together. So while you're in a deep trance and the suggestions that I give you, which the way I do it are your own words. And so then what happens is the unconscious mind, and here's the words that I'm confident, I am strong, I am every skill possible to do and be successful at this podcast. And then your unconscious mind is like, yep, you are, you got her. And then you go ahead and you do it.
So how's that different from affirmations?
The affirmations,
is that a silly question?
Yeah, well, they're a little different because affirmations are, no, Lucy. Affirmations are, I have a piece of paper and I write on my piece of paper, today is going to be a beautiful day. All good things are going to come to me. And I take my little piece of paper and I write it down. And then I just go on with my day. And it's great. But until you internalize the affirmation, it's just words on a paper.
So you got to believe them.
You've got to believe them. And then and sometimes your unconscious mind is not going to let you believe them because it may not be safe, quote unquote, for you. So then when we get you into trance and we get your unconscious mind saying, oh, okay, this is okay. This is okay. It is going to be a good day. It's safe to be a good day. It's safe to have all things, good things happen to you. Then what happens is that affirmation is more than just words on a paper. It's now internalized. I mean, I have Post-it notes all over my house. My bathroom mirror is covered in them. And I use them all the time. I look at them every morning when I'm brushing my teeth. Yeah, I am awesome. Yeah, I am going to just jump. Yeah, good things are going to happen to me because I know they are. Because I've allowed my unconscious mind to know that.
Cool.
Not just believe it, to know it.
How many times do you have to put someone in a trance? I know it depends on the situation, right? I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say someone who, with, I don't know, limiting self-beliefs.
That one, I'm going to say probably 5 sessions. Because it does take some time for you to, I mean, the first session, you're going to feel great. And then about a week later, those limiting self-beliefs are going to start sneaking back in. So then we have to do another session. So I would say 5 sessions at least, because it does take some time, right? And the way I do it is I talk with my clients and I find out what it is that they want to do. And then one day I may do one hypnosis. And then the next time, depending on what we've talked about, I'll do a different one. But all with the same outcome. They want to be confident. They want to, they want to get on a stage. They want to ask for a raise. They want to do all of those things. I mean, I have a friend who was actually sharing her story on a Mo Monday stage. And she was like, I don't even know what my story is. And it's Sunday night. We were both going to speak on the Monday. And she's like, I don't even have it written. And I'm like, what is going on with you? And she goes, I don't know. So 9 o'clock at night, we're at my place. I put her into trance. I give her the suggestions because what she wanted was she wanted to see herself. I don't know if you watch the show Grace and Frankie.
Yes.
But is it Lily Tomlin? She wanted to be able to dress like Lily Tomlin, that comfortable, casual, boho chic kind of thing. That's how she wanted to see herself. And she wanted to see herself sharing her story, dressed just like that. So that's what we did.
Sorry,
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
mean to put that on.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, this is Antoinette. Sorry, my finger went on that by
Oh,
mistake. But
okay.
I want to do right by her because she says affirmations, listens to positive videos, and then I think this is the continuous YouTube, but it doesn't register deep in my heart. Seems like just words. What do you
Yeah.
got for her?
So, Antoinette, what you need to do is you need to find a way to take your affirmations and internalize them. So you can do meditation. You can meditate on those words. You can journal on those words. You can do hypnosis on those words. And it comes to the point where you have to just believe them. Because like I said, I say this all the lot. You know, people ask me about affirmations and I'm like, until you internalize them, they're just nice words on a piece of paper. They mean nothing. They're just nice words. And sometimes reading them every single day. And the other piece, which is something I recently learned, is what is it? Using them in the first person. So instead of having a post-it note that says, "You are awesome," mine says, "Fiona is awesome." Because that's what I would say to someone else. I would say, "Dela, you're awesome." So why wouldn't I say that to myself? So when you start talking to yourself and using your name, that's another way to internalize those affirmations. Because you start believing the words because it's what someone would say to you. Because I'm not going to say to you, "I am awesome," right, Dela?
Well, you are awesome.
Talking about you, right? Like that's like I would say, "Dela, you're awesome." So why don't I say it to myself?
Why don't you?
I don't know. Right? Yeah. So that's my post-it notes in the mirror always say, "Fiona is, Fiona, you are," you know, whatever it is.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Back, Marianne.
Right.
Marianne. So just one more thing I want to say is Marianne says this is when you said that your friend felt nervous about before Mo Monday. Marianne says that's how she felt before her podcast, which I think I made it pretty easy for her, Marianne.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. This is great.
Okay. And she also says, yes, meditation, definitely meditation, right? Yes. And so, okay. So now, go ahead and continue that.
So I got her into trance and I had her visualize and I used the suggestions you are dressed just like Lily Tomlin in that boho chic and you are up there and you are so strong and confident and, you know, and we did through the hypnosis, brought her out. She went home. She had her talk written in about 20 minutes and we got on stage the next night and she killed it because that was it. But then we needed to keep going, right? Like to maintain the confidence because it takes time because that's where the neuro-linguistics programming comes in, is changing the neural pathways.
Okay, so now there's a big difference between hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic.
They're kind of combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in layman terms, so first you do hypnotherapy, then you do NLP?
I do a little bit of both. I have one program that combines both of them. And the one program that I have, it's called a breakthrough, or some people call it what's the other term for it? I don't use that one, but it's the one that Tad James, who created it, it's what he calls it. Transform your life, something maybe. I can't remember. I call it a breakthrough. And so what it does is it's about 8 to 10 hours, and we go through all these different techniques, and hypnosis is part of it. Because also just talking to someone puts them in a trance. And so when you're in a trance, you're open to receiving more information. So one of the pieces that I do with the breakthrough is we do one session, and it typically takes about 2 hours. And we take there's 5 emotions that we use your timeline, because everybody has a timeline, like your past and your present, right? And we all have see it differently. And so we go back and we get rid of anger, hurt, fear, sadness, and guilt. And so what happens is we go back doing this process, we go back to the very first event you ever felt one of those emotions. And we look at the event, we imagine the event, we take the lessons from the event, and we let go of the emotion. Because everything is a lesson. Everything that happens to us is a lesson. So when I did this, when we did the fear piece, I have a past life. I have two, but the one that I went to was I was a social justice warrior in medieval times. And I was the person who always made sure that, people had food and their voices were heard, and I was rah, rah, rah. But unfortunately, I got burned at the stake because they probably thought I was a witch. And prior to doing this, every time I thought of that, I had this fear. And so when I started doing this work, I very rarely used my voice, because when I used my voice in that life, I got burned at the stake. So for a long time, I didn't use my voice. I just let life happen to me. So when I did this technique, when I was looking at the event of me being burned at the stake, and I apologize for if that's graphic for people, the lessons that I took was that I was fearless, I was brave, I was confident, and I was strong. And the fear just disappeared. It just disappeared. And then what happens is then you take that and you use that and you go through, and while you're still in that trance state, you go through all of the events in your life where you felt fear, and you just released it all, like pearls on a necklace, right? Like you just take one and you just push them all off. So what happens at the end is you still have the memories and you have the lessons that you took from the memories, but you don't have the emotions, so that you move on with your life. And then the other one that was like the big one for me was guilt. When we did this, the person who was doing it with me, who was coaching me through it, I thought I had gotten to the point in my childhood where I first felt guilt, and she knew that there was more, because there's like through the whole process, there's a, communication that we do. And she kept pushing me to go back until I actually went to the very moment of my birth. And all my life, I had been told that, I was supposed to be a brand new house. My mom got pregnant. I was the youngest of 6 kids. So, I was kind of like, not it was a surprise, and not that my family didn't love me. I was definitely loved. But there's always just kind of this theme.
Like,
the joke was, oh yeah, you were supposed to be the brand new house.
If you hadn't been born, this
right.
would have. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so
they would have had a brand new house, right?
Yes.
Right. So I went to that, and that was something that was deep inside of me, and I didn't know it. And when I let go of the guilt, the lesson that I took was that I was wanted, I was loved, I was part of a family, I was special, and I was loved was the big one, and I was not going to be alone. And so when I let go of that, then all the other events in my life where I felt guilty, again, like the pearls on the necklace, I'm moving my hands on my desk like you can see me, like pearls on a necklace, I just removed all the feelings of guilt all the way up to now, and I have all the memories and have all the lessons, but I don't have those emotions. And that to me was the game changer in my life.
That's freedom.
Huge.
Right?
Huge freedom. Huge freedom.
In your experience, okay, first of all, Antoinette says, thank you for clarification.
You're welcome.
And if you're watching this show, please don't forget to give us a like, and that would be great. And if you think that you heard something that is really helpful to you, please share this talk with your loved ones. I want to ask you, in your experience, what is one common pain that keeps people from joy?
From growing?
From joy.
I think the common
from growing, yeah.
From joy? Okay, yeah. I think the common pain is this feeling that I'm just not good enough, and because I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough to be loved, I'm not good enough to be wanted, I'm not good enough to be part of something. And so it becomes this thing that really holds us back. And I know because I was there. I had that. And it wasn't until I was able to let go of all of those things, my life is, all of those things, was I able to really understand what was holding me back. And I still have moments of like, oh crap, I can't do this. Who says I can do this, right? But then I go back to the work that I've done, and I remind myself, awesome. I'm pretty fucking awesome. Oh, I am like I
by internet.
I am.
Yeah, cut off.
You know, like it's yeah, exactly. You know, so it's that piece of that. I mean, I'm not good enough is one of those big limiting beliefs that has so many branch, right? Raise at work, to get the promotion at work. Somebody else is always going to get it. And again, we go back to that life is happening to me.
We lost you right at the pivotal moment. So can you repeat what you just said?
Oh no. Oh, what did I just say? So you know, a lot of times the I'm not good enough has all these branches off of it, right? And it's the I'm not smart enough to get the promotion at work. I'm not good enough to get the job that I want. I'm not loved enough to find a husband or a wife or a partner. I'm not good enough to get. I'm not smart enough to get good grades in school. You know, all of those things. And that's when the victimhood starts to really set in and becomes the life is happening to me. When you can release those limiting beliefs, and it takes time and it takes work and it takes lots and lots of tears, I'm not going to lie. That's when then we move from victimhood to joy, because that belief of I'm not good enough goes away. I mean, I still have moments like that where I'm like, who said I can do this? And then I remind myself, I said I can do this, and I do it. I just do it.
Do you believe that we are capable of doing everything?
Yes, everything that we want to do, right? Like as long as we have the resources. Like if I wanted to be an astronaut, I probably should have started that 40 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I could have been an astronaut, but I chose not to be. But I definitely believe that anything we want to be, we can be, as long as we have the resources, we have support, right? Like all of those things, we need to have those pieces in place. And it needs to be ecological as well, right? Like it needs to be good for the planet. It needs to be good for ourselves. It needs to be good for the people around us, right? I don't want to be, I don't want to be an axe murderer, right? Like that's not right, because that's not good for people, right?
So here's this is what I'm hearing you say is, if I'm thinking, I want the best relationship with my husband. I want to have a job that I love. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to write a book. I want to start a podcast. I want to start my own business. I want, right? All these things, if you know you want to do them, then you can do them.
Yes, absolutely. 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 If you want to do them, there's a way to make it happen.
I want to direct people to you if they need, they feel like they can use your help.
Absolutely.
So here it is. This is your website. I'm gonna, right there's going by. You can be reached on Facebook at Fiona Barr Results Coach on Facebook. People can reach out to you. Is there a consultation that you can offer to the viewers?
Absolutely. I can I always like to connect with people before we start working together, because it needs to be a good fit for both of us, right? Like there needs to be like the good energy piece. And I'm going to tell you if I can't help you, because I do this because my passion is to help people. My passion is so that people can find this place in their life where they have joy. If I know that if I can't help you, I'm not going to take your money, because that's not who I am. I'm not a coach who's like, yes, pay me money and I will fix you. If I know that it's not going to work, I'm going to send you to someone who I think would be better fit for you. Because that's I'm here to serve. I'm not here to take advantage.
That's nice. That's super cool. Okay, so this is something that I always I think with every single talk I can definitely bring it down to this one piece, that there are 3 steps. I call them my AAA success formula. There's 3 steps in recovery from any issues that you have in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's health, whether it's finances, whatever it is that you feel stuck in, that you feel like you're in a rut. There's 3 A's that'll get you out. So first A is admit. Admit that there's a problem.
Yep.
Right? Get out of that denial stage.
Yes.
Right? Number 2A is ask for help, hire a coach, right? Yep. Someone who can give you the answers, who can guide you, who knows what they're doing. But hold on, don't ask for help from a broke friend if you have financial problems.
Right. Right.
Right? So go to someone who clearly knows what they're doing in that area. Number 3A is act. And that's key, right? Because for every individual to be able to change their lives, they have to take that step. They have to do, right? They have to take action. They have to do the work. They have to peel the layers, like you said. They have to suffer through the changes, because truth is, to get comfortable with the uncomfortable things in our lives is very painful, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your take on my AAA success formula, Fiona?
I love those. I mean, you're right. Admitting that there's something, even if you don't know what it is, like if something doesn't feel right in your life, admitting that there's a problem, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. And don't pretend that life is perfect if you know that there's something missing. Admit it. Yeah, I'm missing a piece. I need some help here. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, and when you talked about mental health, I have never shied away from talking about my mental health, ever, because I truly believe that we need to talk more about mental health. I'm not embarrassed by it at all. It's an illness. So admitting that there's something there is absolutely that first place. Asking for help is probably the hardest.
Oh, you said it.
The hardest, because I know for myself, it was really hard to ask for help because I'm independent, and and that's probably the piece that I still work on the most.
What would people think?
Exactly. What will people think? I'm independent. I'll look at me. I'm 56 years old. I should know everything, but I don't. And so asking for help, I'm much better at it now than I used to be. And so asking for help is absolutely the right. And don't ask for financial help from somebody who's broke. Don't ever do that. And acting on it. Of course, you have to act on it. You can't just, I want you to fix me. Dela, fix me. Fiona, fix me. I can't fix you. I can guide you. I can help you. People that work with me, I don't do the work for them. I say, this is my best advice to you. I give my clients homework. I give them homework. If they don't do the homework, that's on them.
Yeah.
But absolutely taking action is, again, another scary piece. But if you've already asked for help, taking action is not that much harder.
Yeah.
Take,
Yeah. And that goes along with taking personal responsibility.
yes. Yeah.
Right. It's
Exactly.
like you said, you're not going to fix me. You can't change people, right? People got to change themselves.
That's right.
Basically that.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, taking personal responsibility. What part am I supposed to be playing in my own recovery?
Exactly.
Do I need to seek therapy? Do I need to read
Right.
books? Do I need to, train for something new? What do I
Right.
need to do? Like, do I need to exercise? Do I need to
Right.
watch what I eat? Like all these different things. They're not just going to happen. You're going to have to take some action,
That's
and
right.
it's painful. It's
Yes.
painful, right?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, like you're talking about coaching. I mean, like, coaching is there's so many different kind of coaches out there, right? You have to find the right one for your needs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm not a business coach, so don't like, I can't help you build your business.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that, and I'm not going to try to help you build your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lacking confidence, I can definitely help you with that. I can get you to a place where, okay, now you're here. Now let's find you the business coach.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you have to be ready to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest piece, and that's the piece where I find that people, they don't want to invest in themselves. Right? Like, they just, and it's hard because investing in yourself is asking for help.
And it's so true. And that's one of those, I find that too, that I talk to a lot of people and they're like, no, but that's a lot of money. But no, but that's investment in you.
Yes.
I'm going to admit it right here, right now, that I have spent thousands of dollars on coaching for myself to bring me to this very moment in my life. And it didn't just happen overnight.
Absolutely.
When you see successful people doing what they love to do and loving what they do, it didn't happen overnight. No. And you don't see the 40 years leading to that, or the whatever years, right? So yeah, you touched on a very, 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 very important. My dear Fiona, our time is up. I would love I know. I would love to keep you here for another hour. We're just going to have to come back and do this again.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I would love having you on here. Oh, thank you. And I want to make sure I acknowledge people who are on here. Ahmed Shah Duranai, a very good friend, a very good coach. He's a business coach, performance coach, if you're looking for one. Kevin, thank you so much for being here. Antoinette, thank you so much for your question and for being here. Navid, thank you again for watching. Ali, thank you everybody who's here. Don't forget to give us that like. Yes. And please share this podcast with people you think that might benefit from this. My dear Fiona, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you. For showing up so authentically and sharing your journey and your knowledge. And thank you for everything you do to make this world a better place. Thank you for sharing your superpower with the world, my friend.
Yep. And thank you for this safe space to do it in. Ooh. This is a safe space to share a story with, because I mean, we all have this story within us and it's very vulnerable, and it's easy to not be able to share it if you're not in a safe space. And this, my dear, is a very, very safe space.
Well,
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that. And this is my contribution, Fiona. This is how I want to impact the world. Providing this podcast really means, what it means to me is that people like you sharing their stories and their experiences and expertise to bring hope to the world. That's what I want.
Exactly. And we do need hope, because, if we don't have hope, we can't have joy. It all kind of,
Yes. And you know what hope stands for? Hold on. Pain ends.
Ooh, I like that.
I stole it.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Thank you, my dear. And for
Thank you.
everyone who's been watching us and for all the comments, for all the love, thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Join us
All right.
again on another episode of Dela's Voice. And as always, my name is Dela, and hoping to spark your soul. Till next time, my friends. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Fiona. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.